Hey everybody, Prepper for the Ages coming back at you from my living room. How are you doing today? I was just thinking about Ukraine and what happened to Ukraine a few years ago. And it's kind of important because I'm thinking if, a certain country that I will not name, if they succeeded, and so I'm wondering how much of this playbook is being played out in, today. So going back, first, Ukraine had issue originally with getting energy from the north. They needed that energy, they needed that oil in order to heat their homes, heat their places, survive difficult winters. And the only way they could get it was from a pipeline from the north. And so there was friction there because they couldn't pay full price, and there was back and forth of what they owed. And so I don't know if it began there or whatnot, but Ukraine also had this big section of it called Crimea, and Crimea is very strategically important from a military perspective, both on land and by ocean, and it is a gateway to a whole bunch of ports and different land and whatnot. So it was very interesting. So first, Ukraine had this suddenly growing number of civilians that had distrust in the government. They were pro a certain country in the north and anti-Ukrainian. They wanted Ukraine to go back and be under that certain country to the north, and there was a growing sentiment there, and a bunch of politicians were friendly to that idea. Some weren't friendly to the idea, so it created a lot of friction. Now, the other thing was that, as you understand, there were people that were in these weird green uniforms with no insignias that were coming in, and some people were letting them come in and deeming them as friendlies, and some people that recognized them as not being from that country. And so there was plausible deniability of what country they were from, and they were mercenaries and they were not mercenaries and whatnot. So there was a big hullabaloo in that. And so there was a strategic placement of people that were not originating from the Ukraine. So, and then there was the outright fighting with taking that section that is Crimea, and there was a dispute, and the forces went back and forth, and there was munitions involved. So, and also there was cyber attacks. So, a certain set of cyber attacks, whether it was just cyber attacks from afar, or people blowing up substations, or sawing down transmission lines, sawing down energy lines in certain strategic areas. I mean, the whole Crimea thing, that was, I mean, it was this, I don't know, I'm just seated in my chair here at home, but from me, from a 7,000 mile away perspective, I guess that was a success because Crimea is now not in the control of Ukraine. So, well, whether it's disputed or not, that it's disputed of whose land it really is. Right now, Ukraine does not control it physically at this time. So, where am I going with this? Well, I would assume that that is some kind of either it was a what is it? A not fit for purpose, is a demonstration. It was a dry run for somewhere else, or it was, what do they call it? A demo, demonstration of what they could do, what was, and to find out what was successful, what was not, improve upon the plans, and then in order to move forward and do other things. So I think that was, if as long as that was successful, and there was a large there was a large plot of land involved, and it ended up in the hands of somebody else. So it's, what are they going to do? What's going to happen next? So that was a demonstration of force. That was a demonstration of politics and force, and applying different pressure in different places, just so in different ways to cause a result. And so it's something that I just wonder about. So what's next? What's going on? Is there another country that is suddenly the masses are getting riled up and they're not trusting of government, and there's some government people pro and con, for or against, or what's going on? General dissatisfaction among the populace. Meanwhile, there's cyber attacks, and meanwhile, there are people that are being looked for by the government who they can't find them. Period. They don't know if they're from that country or not. So it's very interesting what's going on, and maybe it's just a coincidence. I may have no idea. I'm sitting here in my living room making suppositions, blind suppositions, but I mean, from my view behind the keyboard, it's something that I wonder about and something that that's very interesting to me. Just because I'm curious. So let me know what you think. Let me know if my ramblings make sense. Okay, I hope you're having a good one. Prepper for the Ages, signing out for now.